Good morning. Today we will be discussing about inflation, depression which is looming over the globe as Jupiter goes in retrogression on the 29th July 2022 in the early hours. You see, I have been mentioning that as per Saravali, the third aspect and the 10th aspect of Saturn is very strong. And as per Jatak Parijat, when Saturn aspects Jupiter by third aspect, in the present context, we are talking about the present context transit, when Saturn aspects Jupiter by third aspect and then Ketu by 10th aspect, meaning if Saturn connects to nodes and Jupiter, then it is a time for recession, global recession. And if we go back, we have absolutely parallel situations of these parameters in the month of April 2020 when we had the COVID, and then March 2000 when the bubble burst, the dot-com bubble burst. These combinations were present. So we anticipate that there is going to be a global recession. Especially if you look at the chart, the Lunation chart of 29th July is also enigmatic. I've already written about it. And if you look at the chart at the time when Jupiter is going into retrogression in the early hours on the 29th June, when Taurus sign is rising, it is evident that since Jupiter is afflicted, Jupiter is in the star of Saturn and aspected by Saturn, and Moon also aspected by Saturn and in the star of Saturn, it is crystal clear that there will be a depression. Now, if we go according to the chart, this Jupiter will remain in retrogression for 119 days till 23rd of November 2022. Now, if you see the chart is of Taurus Lagna, the same as that of India Foundation chart, and Jupiter is placed in the 11th house. 11th house is the house where the government takes some decisions and important decisions and important rulings. And since Jupiter is present there, the monetary policies may not be conducive for the health of the economy of the country. Then you see the Lagna Lord Taurus is Venus, and it is placed in the second house. Now, second house is the house of wealth and the economic condition of the country. Now, Venus is placed, the Lagna Lord is placed there, which is the sixth Lord also. The Mul Trigona sign for Taurus is the sixth house. So it is a malefic. So it is placed in the second house in the star of Rahu, and Rahu is placed in the star of Venus, which is placed in the 12th house of losses. There is a star exchange between Venus and Rahu, and Rahu is forming in Angarak with Mars and Uranus in the star of Bharani, the star lauded by Venus. No, so it is evident of two things, that there will be break in the financial market, one, and there will also be espionage from foreign elements, because 12th house, Mars is the lord of the 7th house and the 12th house. So aspecting the 7th house is aspecting the natal Ketu for India. So it is espionage from foreign elements. And then the Amavasya is also there. Moon is weak, although in its own sign, but Moon is weak and placed with Sun and Mercury in the third house in the sign Cancer. Now this sign Cancer is there are these three planets over the 5 planets of the India Foundation chart. So it is obvious, and Saturn and Mars, both the heavy planets, both aspected. So it is obvious that there will be signification of the third house will suffer. Third house is rail accidents, air accidents, border clashes, media in trouble. So, and then what do you call? Ketu is in the 6th house, and we all know when Ketu is disease karka, so the humans may also be troubled by diseases and virus. And Jupiter is in watery sign and it is afflicted, so there will be havoc from water. There may be scarcity of water, there may be rains, floods and havoc from rains, earthquakes, cyclones, terrorism. And if you see, first of all, the inflation and the stock and financial markets would go for a toss. But the grace is right now is that Venus is in exalted Navamsha. So Venus, when goes in debilitation and opposes Jupiter, will be the time for the global recession. And if you look at the Rashi and Nakshatra Sanghata Chakra, there is Veda between Mars and Saturn. So it shows, in fact, the Veda between Mars and Saturn shows war. It is warlike conditions. The global economy may create situations like warlike. Or there may be brawl between the nations, can also go for a toss. Maybe it is Ukraine, Russia. The intensity may increase. It may go for a toss again. Then China, Taiwan, India, China, India, Pakistan. You see, Jammu and Kashmir has always been a point of concern, and terrorism in 4 states in India. So this is the general, but as far as Jupiter is concerned, it will give recession, that is for sure, in the coming months. And let me read out, you see, for 119 days, but if you see the Rashi and Nakshatra Sanghata Chakra, it shows even more than that. The situations may be very bad. I will first read out which are the parameters which are most critical. Rail and air accidents, espionage from foreign elements, global recession, cryptocurrencies taking a hit, border clashes, earthquakes, cyclones and tsunami-like events, Mars and Saturn, Veda and the Rashi and Nakshatra Sanghata Chakra, warlike conditions in the globe which may attribute global recession. Head of the countries and head of the states may suffer. Signification of Saturn may be suffered the most. Delay, destruction, death, shortage of agriculture items, and head of the countries and head of the states may suffer the most. I've already written about the UP state. This is an unfortunate thing which happened in Banaras. The lightning took place and the top 1.5 feet, you see, it fell down, the top of the mandir. So it is a bad omen, and it shows that the head of the state will be influenced adversely, and we can see for ourselves some ministers had already resigned, but one of them has taken back. So some unfortunate event can also take place in that regard. Rise in inflation, brawl between the countries may go for a toss. Ukraine, Russia, China, Taiwan, Gulf countries, border clashes in India. So all this is, it is adding fuel to the fire. Already prediction has been made, but this Jupiter retrogression, and then Jupiter on the 29th is stationary. And stationary Jupiter, which signifies wealth, which signifies growth, will be aspected by retrograde fallen Saturn from the 10th house of the natural zodiac. And Jupiter is in the 12th house of the natural zodiac. So it is obvious that the global recession will take place. And it may last long. Especially the stock market would take a beating till Venus is in the sign Virgo. So this is all, friends, I just wanted to share. I will also make a video in Hindi after this, and every time I make a video, it will be in English and Hindi as well. So this is all, friends, I just wanted to say, and I want also like to inform all the viewers that my predictions, whatever predictions have been made earlier, are proving spot on. There is a volcanic eruption in Japan, and I had mentioned that when Mars and Rahu join the same star after the 16th July, there can be volcanic eruptions, cyclones, earthquakes, and already the countries prone are, I had mentioned even the South Asian countries, Southeastern Asian countries, and we can see more like this, earthquakes of magnitude. Anyway, I don't want to scare anybody, but this is just for astrological perspective. And as far as the investment in the stock and financial market is concerned, I've already mentioned that unless you have combinations, you should not invest. And any person investing as per my predictions will be responsible himself. My disclaimer clause mentioned in my article holds good. I shall not be responsible for anybody's losses, the individual, company, corporate, all will be due to his own whims and fancies, and in no case I shall be responsible for the same. So thank you very much for listening to me. Have a good day. Bye bye.